Hi, I'm Streaky, and today I'm going to tell you the one bit of software that every recording, mixing and mastering engineer needs. So the bit of software I'm going to tell you about today, I use it all the time. I know a lot of mix engineers that use it on every single mix that they do. It's called RX6, it's by Isotope. You've probably already heard of it, but I'm going to do a little sort of screen grab now and show you how I use it and how I know mix engineers use it. Hopefully this will give you some handy tips on how you can get the most out of it. I can't do without it, and so here goes. Let's go straight into the screen grab.
So here we are in RX. Now I've put a few files in so we can have a play. I can't tell you how much I actually use this, it's crazy. So when files come in, I'll get them into RX just to have a look at them, see what's going on, so I can, you know, for example, here is a 96 file, says at the bottom 9624, so I know straight away what it is. I'm looking at this, I can see over here, this side here, whether it's a true 96 file or whether it's been upsampled. If I show you this file here, this is a file that has been upsampled. What you can do, you go to the, you take it away from waveform and show this kind of heat map, and this shows you that it is only going up to about 20k. There's not a lot going on over that, so let's zoom out and you can see that a bit better. So you go to that map, so if you look at that compared to this one, you can see this one's well over 20k, nearly touching the 30k. It's still got loads of peaks on it, there's no sort of straight cut across. This one here, you can see the heat only goes up to about 20k and it's cut across, so this means it's a 44.1 file that's been upsampled. So all this is just blank space. Now, why would you upsample something on the way in? If you're, I know many mix engineers who are in the box, and if you're in the box and a lot of plugins are working at 96, then sometimes what you do is you get all your files into here first of all. There's a batch processor as well. So what you do, if you know that they're all 44.1 and you want to upsample them, or 48, so you can do a batch process in here where you can add all the files, and then you can resample them and put them up to 96. They're 48, but you can do 96 here. So a lot of guys I know do that. The way I use it is, if I'm upsampling, I might upsample just to hear how something sounds if I'm going through my kit, just out of interest. But really what I'm looking for is, I'm looking for anomalies. I think that's the right word to use. So here I can see everything's looking okay, they all kind of look the same, apart from there's like some big click or something going on here. So what I'll do, if I zoom, I'll zoom into that. Normally I'd listen to it and see what it's like, but I won't in this occasion. And so if I look at that, I can go in and see, okay, that's looking a little bit different to the bottom one. And normally the waveforms are kind of the same. I mean, that looks like it's some kind of knock or something. I mean, let's listen anyway. So you can't really hear that, but as an example. So you can see it's kind of sticking out and it's not right. I probably would leave that alone because it doesn't sound like a big click, but just for the example here, I'd go in, I want to just do that side. I'd go into spectral repair over here and process that, and so then that makes that exactly the same, and then that kind of still sounds like there's a little click there, but anyway, you sort of get what I'm saying. Let me just run through all the stuff that it does. I mean, I can't go into every single thing because it's mental, but if you are if you're wanting to clean up files before they go into your session, then there's loads of different things: decrackle, dehum, debleed, mouth pops, all sorts of stuff, just to clean up your stems before you put them into your session. Or if they are in the session and they're not sounding right, you can bang them into RX and clean them up and then put them back. The main things that I normally use it for are I might use, I mean, I always use the dither in here. It's really nice dither. If I'm resampling, as I just said, I'll use this. Now, with the resample, it's SRC, so sample rate conversion. We tested this out against all the different SRCs at Metropolis, and we found this was like the second best to Pyramix sound-wise when we were going through that. So as somebody who can have this at home and you not have to buy a Pyramix system, this is super close. I mean, it's really good compared to doing any upsampling in Pro Tools or any other DAW. This is where you want to be doing your sample rate conversions. So if you're upsampling on the way in or if you're downsampling on the way out, I would always keep the session that you're doing in Pro Tools exactly the same as what you've set it up as. Export as that, and then go into RX and then sample rate it down if you need to. If not, then obviously send it straight to the mastering engineer to master it at the sample rate you've made the track in, because obviously he will then be able to, or she will be able to master it at that sample rate and then convert it down in RX or whatever they're using after that. Now, I really like this other little feature, which is nice. So I throw files in at the end. I can see on here, this is waveform stats. So on here, I can then see, okay, the RMS value is -16. This track here is a mastered track, so that one is probably around -8 or something. Yes, 7.8. So it's good from that point of view. You can see different levels. You can see loudness. It's really handy. You can, I mean, for me, it's just a question of cleaning stuff up, sample rate conversions, dithering, batch processing stuff, going in, taking clicks out, and, you know, just tidy stuff up before it comes into my session so that I know, okay, this is exactly how I want it to sound. It's at the right sample rate. I can now, you know, work with confidence that the levels aren't over boost, there's not anything going on that I don't want going on. Now, I think at the moment RX actually have a deal on in the next few weeks, so if I was you, I would definitely get this. This is just killer, just for putting, even if you're just using it for mix prep, for putting all the files in first of all, checking them out, making sure there's no nonsense going on, getting them all at the right sample rate, getting them all edited right. I mean, that's just, you know, getting them named correctly, things like that is just really good practice to get into. It just makes your mix sessions so much quicker because you're not messing around. You've listened to it, you know what it is, you've named it something, in it goes. You've kind of worked it out before you get into your mix.
So that's how I'm using RX6. Please leave some comments, let me know how you're using it. Any tips you've got, more than appreciated. Talking of comments, I've got a question from a commenter who asked me what's the difference between a recording studio and a mastering studio, and what would I think it would be. So I've worked in both. I've had mastering studios in both. I've actually found that when the mastering studio is not part of a recording studio, the setup is much better. Now, the reason I say that is because recording studios are set up to capture. They've got a lot of equipment, they've got a lot of outboard, they're going through a lot of different cables, they're patch bayed up, there's a lot going on. The speakers are always set up in different places. You usually have a lot of smaller speakers, set of soffit mounted, big speakers. Now for mastering, the setup is when you come from a mindset of this is going to be the best hi-fi I could ever possibly make. That is what makes for a really good mastering room. So if you think of a cinema room at your house, the way that would be acoustically treated, the size of it, perfect sizes, hardly anything in front of you, a set of beautiful hi-fi speakers is perfect. Short cable runs, good mains, clean earths, high-end equipment, all this stuff contributes to making a really great sounding room, and that's what you need for mastering, because you are dealing with minute details of half a dB here and there, and so it's all about being able to hear that precision. With a recording studio, you do need to hear that precision, but not in the same way. You're kind of smashing things, grabbing stuff, you're sound designing. You've got to get things working quickly, so you've got to lash up some cables, you've got to get going. It's a totally different mindset. You have to just capture stuff, where with mastering, you sit back, you listen, you take your time. It's like sitting in front of a hi-fi for the day. So I hope that helps. I hope that explains what I think. Like a hi-fi for the day. So that's the main differences I see. I've always found dedicated mastering rooms with a mindset of going into it as a hi-fi is the better way to set a room up. You can't record, mix and master in the same room. You will not get a good sound. So please leave some comments. If this is your first time here, I'm always here with doing videos of reviews, just how to get things sounding good, how to hear things in a better way. And yeah, thanks for watching. Till next time, bye.